Good morning, it's Hiker Dude Dad, and I am standing above Lock 15 of the Susquehanna Tidewater Canal. These ruins are in a very cool interpretive park here along the river, but I'm going to catch the Mason-Dixon Trail right now and head up to Peavine Island. So we're right along the Susquehanna River. The Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal ran for 43 miles between Wrightsville and Havre de Grace, Maryland. Got these great information boards here, and it is really nice to see a piece of history preserved like this. So this lock does not have the wooden doors anymore, but there would be one on each end, and opening and closing them allowed the boats to raise or lower depending on which way they were going. There were 29 of these locks along the canal, and they raised boats a total of 231 feet. This lock, number 15, raised and lowered boats almost 9 feet. When you came in, you'd pull in, they would close the door behind you, the water level would raise, and then you'd shoot out that end. Beautiful little park here though. Got this preserved lock, but then you can go right down on the river and see some of these bedrock islands that are exposed down here. All the islands down here aren't sediment islands. They're basically everything's been worn down to the bedrock, and it's bedrock exposed from the river cutting down. Yeah, so we're basically between the Norman Wood Bridge, which I crossed over to get here to York County, and just south of us in the direction we're facing right now is the Muddy Creek boat access. We've launched a flotilla of creators from there before. But the Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal, it basically connected the Harrisburg area to the Chesapeake Bay. And the canal transported lumber, coal, iron, grain, bound for Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York. This canal was abandoned in 1895. Railroads and other modes of transportation were taking over and kind of making these canals obsolete, but there's so many different canals in Pennsylvania, and a lot of them do connect. One of the appeals to start making this canal was that they cut across the top of the Delmarva Peninsula. I'll put the name below, I can't think of it. It's like Delaware Chesapeake Canal or something. I'll put the name here, but it basically chopped the Delmarva Peninsula in half, and that made it attractive to people in Philadelphia and New York to have this canal also to go into the Chesapeake and then cut across and out to the ocean. When we get up around Peavine Island, we might be able to see Lock 13. It is kind of abandoned in the woods. I've stumbled upon it before trying to get to Peavine Island from the Lock 12 area. Lock 14 does not exist anymore. Lock 15 and 13 are similar size to Lock 12, which is 17 feet wide, 170 feet long, and Lock 12 had a lift capability of 8.8 feet, so basically 9 feet. There were 29 locks on the Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal. There were 19 in Pennsylvania and 10 in Maryland. Came upon a little mossy rock overlook here. Summertime, so not much of a view, but a little table here. Yeah, probably 100 feet down there. Mason-Dixon Trail right here, not only shaded, but like downright dark almost. And it's a beautiful sunny day. It is August 26th. It's my kid's second day back in school. My second day of freedom from driving everybody everywhere all throughout the day. Rocks are great. I have a love-hate relationship here with the Mason-Dixon Trail. It is a beautiful trail, great views, everything like that. Sometimes it's easy, but a lot of times it's an absolute butt kicker. Had my climb back there, now I think we're going to descend towards the river. Always a welcome challenge, the Mason-Dixon. On the plus side, close to the river, another big rock outcropping here. If there is any doubt, I am taking out all the spider webs on this trail too. So I suppose at least on the way back, hopefully they won't have had time to rebuild. Looking down here, I see some turtles on the water. I'm gonna zoom in. So yeah, look what's down here. A couple of turtles, man, they look bone dry. They have been basking in that sun all morning. It's a great spot. Man, just came up here. I was like, God, that is a big slide, like a vertical scramble right down to stay on the trail. But now over here, I came around this way, and look at this, metal rungs. Oh, fantastic. Probably have a couple rungs here. Oh man. So after coming down that steep embankment, we are here at the river. Looks like we're going to cross over onto Peavine Island, and more on that in a bit. But yeah, it depends. You know, if Holtwood Dam has released water, you're not going to be able to walk across the Peavine if the river levels are high, but river levels should be low. Yeah, I imagine there's a situation where they could release water from Holtwood Dam. You can check the release schedules. You can conceivably kind of get trapped over here for a little while. Yeah, so we're gonna keep walking across here and explore the island. Here's some rungs after the steep part. Find some rungs here. There's a little waterfall down there. Gonna have to make a jump. The Mason-Dixon Trail goes that way, but there are a lot of unmarked trails on the island that I've run into junctions. But here you can see there's a pretty steep drop off here, else I'd hop down to the river. But man, it's really nice out here. Yeah, very skinny Mason-Dixon Trail here and a huge drop. Just a few feet away, so keep your eyes peeled here. Alright, so we're at the northern tip of Peavine Island. Gotta remember where I went back into the woods here. It's kind of on an unmarked trail just for a bit. Here you see the very low river, so you could probably pop out here pretty far. Norman Wood Bridge is in the back. So even though these are bedrock islands out here, I'm sure they've accumulated soil and silt and everything from many floods and everything else, but there's just a great diversity of wildflowers out here on the island. Little puddles that kind of create their own little oasis type areas on this big rocky island. It's more wooded than you would think. So through the supports of Norman Wood Bridge, you can see the Holtwood Dam. Doesn't look like any water is spilling over. The Whitewater Park is over in that area. And then you've got Norman Wood Bridge as we zoom out. And yeah, almost looks like you could walk right up to it. So back when York County was formed, it broke off like a piece of Lancaster County. Lancaster County used to be across the river. And when they formed York County, Lancaster County kept the entire Susquehanna River. So the boundary line is basically the shoreline of York County. All of the islands on the Susquehanna River are Lancaster County down in this area, except for 4 islands. So why is Peavine Island part of York County? It fluctuates between an island and a peninsula depending on where the water levels are. Controlled by the rain, weather, controlled by Holdwood Dam, Conowingo Dam to the south. The theory is that the boundary line was likely established when the river was at low level, resulting in it, being called a, geographically speaking, a peninsula sticking out from York County. And it basically was today. I mean, I made one jump to get over to the island. But the name of it is Peavine Island, even though technically probably a peninsula, and that's why it's part of York County. So I'm just back from the rocks where I had my coffee. And this is like a man-made wall here. Not sure what it's for, not sure if this island was ever inhabited, but definitely a man-made stacked stone wall here. I tried to look over to the other side and there's not really anything over there, so yeah, not sure why that's here. Well, they say no camping here on the island, but kind of looks like a really nice place to camp. Nice and flat. Got some hammockable trees. Mental note. So right over there is where I crossed to come over to the island. Once I crossed over, I didn't turn around. Look at these monstrous rock walls here lining the channel. It's not going to come across on the GoPro very well, but they've got to be 20-30 feet high. Echo. A little bit of an echo there. Safely say that I was the only person on Peavine Island this morning. Nobody else out here with me. And back to our little waterfall. Just gorgeous. Alright, so the final steps to leave Peavine Island are the iron rungs. Going to hightail it back. I'm just backtracking, so unless there's something cool that I didn't notice before, we'll talk to you back in the parking lot. Might go down to the Muddy Run access there and just stand along the river for a while. It's not that far away. Beautiful day.